Only in Japan.
Welcome to Ueno here in Tokyo. This is where you're going to find many of Japan's national museums and where you're going to find Vermeer, known as Vermeer in Japanese.
Ueno is a peaceful park with 6 exceptional museums and a zoo, and where you'll find Saigo Takamori, the last samurai standing tall. He's pretty big here in Ueno, but
Who's big in Japan these days?
it's hard not to say Tommy Lee Jones. He's the pitchman for a canned coffee brand, and yes, he loves Japanese coffee. Product marketing is a way to see who's big in Japan these days. And recently I saw this, the painting of the milkmaid on an ad for a Tokyo soup chain. Like the painting, it has broken pieces of bread and fresh milk. How did an artist's work become a meal in a cup? Japan really loves Vermeer's work.
Yeah, I was surprised by that too. Vermeer is so popular in Japan that people line up for hours to see his work at the museum.
You can get museum tickets at a convenience store, but there's almost always a wait because attendance is the highest in the world.
He even has his own brand of otaku, the Vermeer Otaku, one of which we're going to be meeting today. So the question is, what makes Vermeer so popular in Japan?
The answer on how Vermeer's art is interpreted here also gives good insight into Japanese culture. I headed to Aoyama Gakuin University on a lovely autumn day to meet with an expert in Vermeer's work. This is Professor Shin-Ichi Fukuoka. He's written a few books on Vermeer, and when you get to his office, you realize he's more than an expert. He's a Vermeer Otaku. Is that the original 1672 ladies' seat at a Virginal? My first thought was, whoa, there's at least $25 million worth of masterpieces here. That frame, the original milkmaid on the floor? And that one too? Who is this guy? It's Professor Fukuoka, the biggest Vermeer Otaku in the world. And he has a thing for the Mona Lisa of the North. You can find the original girl with the pearl earring at the Materpieces in the Netherlands. And the professor is quite familiar with that. He had a perfect recreation in his house in New York when he was a post-grad student there. The Materpieces invited him for a visit. But the professor didn't know they'd completely recreated his New York City apartment inside the museum. A dream come true. An afternoon with the original at home. Sort of. Let's just say it's easier for the museum this way.
What did you think when you saw that?
That's more than wonderful.
But there's more to this story, and to learn why Vermeer is big here, I have to understand Professor Fukuoka's passion. He's uncovered a lot about Vermeer's life because
I'm kind of introvert, lonely kids. Butterflies only my friends, and microscope is only my tools. So it's a kind of otaku obsession. Or that's me at this moment, at that moment. Yeah.
So that means that you are an otaku.
Yes, obsession or nerd, geek, or some kind of weirdness. But it's otaku mind, obsession mind is a kind of a talent to be scientist.
he loved butterflies and microscopes as a kid, which is when he discovered Leeuwenhoek, a pioneer in microscopy in the 17th century Holland. He even recreated Leeuwenhoek's journal. He discovered something odd with the drawings.
I first thought Leeuwenhoek had very skillful artistic talent, but in fact it's not true. Leeuwenhoek said in his notebook something like this: Leeuwenhoek was not good at drawing, so Leeuwenhoek asked someone skillful to draw picture for him.
Who could it be? An artist who lived near him, perhaps? In the city of Delft in the mid-1600s?
So you have an otaku mind that's very analytical.
Yes.
You see things like in an extreme.
Yeah.
So this otaku mind led to some amazing discovery.
Yes.
Can you tell me about that?
There were some well-drawn images and also childlike drawings, although scientifically accurate, but they didn't match.
All of a sudden, touch has been changed completely. First part is very artistic, but a later part is scientifically precise, but no more artistic.
The claw-like drawing here was a big clue. It's just too well drawn. And those artistic drawings vanished in an important year.
It's a year 1675, Vermeer died. So it's all circumstantial evidence, but I believe personally Leeuwenhoek and Vermeer, they're
Like best friends,
Yeah.
basically. And best friends share things, which means Vermeer shared his artistic talents in the journal,
yeah.
and the microscopic talents.
Transfer to Vermeer from Leeuwenhoek, and no real document like letters or some written material has not been found, but they lived in very close distance.
And nobody had made this connection before.
No, someone said they are new to each other, but helping Leeuwenhoek microscopic study by Johannes Vermeer. That's my original finding.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. So this is the discovery of an otaku mind.
Right.
But there's more.
Yes.
There's more.
Yeah. Listen. I have just one idea, and this is Music Interrupted, owned by Frick Collection in New York City. Look at this. He paints.
Oh, right. Yeah, I can see the music note.
The sheet music had just enough detail to get the professor to obsess over it.
Using a digital microscope, we just make magnification of this portion like this.
Oh.
There was an actual song in the work.
You can listen to
yeah.
like this.
Whoa.
It's a harmony and also some repetitive motif.
Do you think when he composed this, he was really putting thought into this score for the artwork, or he just did it quickly to add something to the art?
I think it's already published artbook, and he precisely transfer this note onto his painting.
Interesting.
An obsessed mind, that of an otaku, can find new questions and figure out answers, thinking of new angles that no one had ever imagined before. But how? I guess we have to answer, what exactly is an otaku? I asked my friend Patrick W. Galbraith, who is a leading expert in Japanese subculture and the study of the otaku mind, like in his book, Otaku Spaces. Is this Professor Fukuoka an otaku?
Yeah, he's a textbook definition. So according to the Kojien, the Japanese dictionary, an otaku is someone who's interested in a particular object or genre, extraordinarily knowledgeable about it, he fits it perfectly, and the last part of the definition is lacking in social common sense. So take your fandom, take your interest in an object or genre, or a painting or a painter, one step further. That makes you into an otaku according to the Japanese definition.
That also means that my friend Patrick is an otaku in the study of otaku. Once he starts talking, better bring popcorn. Now the question, what do Japanese see in Vermeer's work? Let's ask the professor.
Yeah. So when you see this painting, what do you see?
Yes, I can see microscopic universe inside of the Vermeer painting. It's small world, but contain everything, universe. and Vermeer painting always very fair, no ego, and very precise. That's the reason Japanese people love Vermeer stuff, because we love small thing without ego, and we see universe inside of it.
Right, it's realistic. He didn't put himself too much into what he sees. He used it from more of a scientific point of view, I think.
Exactly, very science mind in it. I see scientific mind in the Vermeer paintings. Vermeer painting itself is still, but it's moving.
So now we're looking at the lady with the pearl earring. What do Japanese people see in this painting? What makes it so special?
I think we shared same kind of experience, special experience. When look at her, her looks at you.
So we're looking at the original right now, but your recreations are different.
Right. It's not just a copy, not just a replica. We just reconstruct the original color and brush stroke in almost 360 years ago with computer graphic design technique. And we restore everything to the point when Vermeer created. So it's more beautiful, more precise than the original.
It's more than a high level of passion, it's the highest level. I wanted to get another point of view, so I asked a former art student who studied in Japan about her thoughts.
フェルメールのどこが好きと言われたら、日常生活を描いている中でどこかミステリアスな雰囲気があるところがいいなって思います。日常生活の一部なんですけど、日本ではあまり見ない光景かなっていうところと、差し込んでくる光でパンとか牛乳とか見慣れた風景がキラキラして見えるっていうのがすごいみんな好きなのかなって思います。
Yuki's view doesn't go into microscopic detail as the professor's, but it explains a lot. Vermeer's painting makes everyday life seem nicer. Back in Ueno, there's also a drink dedicated to Vermeer. It matches the colors of the milkmaid. There's no doubt there's a deep love for Vermeer's work in Japan, and if you're not a collector or an otaku, only in Japan can you have a meal of it and say kanpai.